How do you find the right woman? Where do you go to find the right woman for you? You're a guy, you're looking for a lady, and you think, where do I go? Do I go to the bar? Do I go online? Do I go to AI? What do I do? Well, a lot of guys are struggling with that today because they say, well, David, I don't know how to find the right woman. I don't know how to find the right one. Well, there's three things you can do to help you understand stuff so you can find the right woman. You see, the key to finding the right woman is not that she's hiding out there somewhere. The key starts with you. And in this video, we're going to talk about it. Hey guys, I'm David Maxwell from Thriving Man, and today we're talking about 3 ways to find the right woman for you. Now, for a lot of guys, they think, okay, what do I do? What's the secret? Well, it's not really a secret. It's some stuff that you have to do. And I'm someone who recently kind of went through this again. I'd been married for about 28 years and my wife had passed away. A few years after that, I was talking with some friends and they were like, hey, are you going to be on the dating scene again? And I was like, no. You know, when you're in your 50s, the dating scene is not quite the same as it is when you're in your 20s. And I was like, no, I don't know. I'm just not going to worry about that. I'm probably never going to get married again. And the guy was like, hey, just do what I did. I found my wife in the Philippines. This guy went through this whole thing where he went to the Philippines, met someone through this online service, and he said, it's been great. You know, they had a great marriage and he loved it. It was a second marriage for him too. I just said to myself, I just don't see myself doing that. For one, I just don't know. I mean, I'm sure they had a great marriage, but for me, it just didn't feel like the right thing to do. And so through some other situations, a couple of years later, I started looking for someone. I found someone. I recently got married again. And it's one of those things, a lot of people wonder, how do you find someone? Because you hear the stories and you're like, I don't know, what did they do? You know, we just happened to meet here, or we found each other online, or we did this, or we did that. And all those are great. But sometimes you think, well, none of that's worked for me. So what do I need to do? Well, we're going to talk about the 3 things you need to do to find the right woman for you. And the first one is to understand the purpose of dating. See, a lot of people look at dating as just something fun to do. And it is fun. And there's nothing wrong with dating and meeting new people. But we've got to understand that dating is not an end to itself. Dating is not the purpose of your life. Dating is not what it's really about. Dating has an end, and that end is to build a serious relationship and marriage. The purpose of dating is not just to date. The purpose of dating is to get married. And you say, well, David, I don't want to ever get married. Well, then don't date. Well, I like hanging out. Well, there's nothing wrong with hanging out. But the purpose of dating, the real purpose of dating, is to look to marriage. In fact, dating is kind of a new phenomenon the last 100 years. People used to never really date. You know, they either courted or they had arranged marriages. And many of those people in the arranged marriages were married all their life. So you think, well, I need to have options. I need to do this. I need to do that. For a lot of guys, they don't really want to get into a serious relationship. They just want to date. And the reason they do is they just want to hook up. They just want to have a bunch of one-night stands. And they think, that's all I need. There's no commitment. There's no complications. We have sex. I move on. But that's a very empty lifestyle. And you say, well, I'd like to try it sometime, Dave. Well, you can try it, but almost everybody I know who has tried that, it ends up not doing anything for them. They get empty, they get jaded, they get cynical, and a lot of times they get hurt. They get hurt real bad. And so what we want to understand is that dating is not the purpose. The purpose of dating is to get you to marriage, to get you to a serious relationship. We are created to be together. God made men and women to be together in the marriage union. That's what it's about. And you say, what about those who aren't called to be married? Well, that's a small number, and God gives them the grace to do that. But for you, the reason you date is to work toward marriage, to figure out, is this the right person for me? When you understand that, it gives dating a different perspective. Now, the second way to find the right woman for you is to be the real you. And you say, well, what does that mean? Well, it means be authentic. You need to know who you are. You need to live that out. And if you do that, you're going to attract a woman who's authentic. A lot of guys say, well, every woman I date is fake. Well, I would ask them, how are you living? How are you being? Are you acting a certain way? Are you playing a part? Or are you really being yourself? And some guys can't answer that. Why? They don't know who they are. They don't know what they're all about. They've not done the mental work, the emotional work to figure themselves out. I'm not saying you have to know everything about yourself. I mean, when I was young and got married, I was dumb as a brick. I really was. I did a lot of things wrong. But over that 28 years of marriage, I learned a lot more about myself and became more authentic. She did too. We grew together because both of us had the desire to grow and to be better. So we did that together. That's a good thing. But what you want to do now is you want to be your authentic self. You say, I don't know who that is. Well, then you need to do the work to find out. Do the emotional work, do the mental work, do the things you need to do. You say, well, I've got areas in my life that I'm not good at. Get better at it. Well, what do? You get help. You go to people and say, I can't stop doing this, or I need help with this, or I don't know anything about this. You don't just sit around and wait for life to come to you, for the woman to come to you. You go out and become the better version of you, because the better version you are, the easier it'll be to find the woman who connects with you. Because you're being authentic, you'll be able to recognize a woman who's being authentic, and you'll be able to connect easier. And you need to know some things like, what's your worldview? What do you think of life? What do you think the purpose of life? What's your purpose in life? If you don't know those things, then it's hard to attract a woman to connect with you on. See, what a lot of guys do, they kind of change who they are to fit the woman they're dating. So they become more like this or more like that based on the woman they're dating. The problem is they never figure out who they are. So if you want to find the right woman, you need to be who you really are. Do the work, figure that out, and it's going to be a lot easier for you. The third thing we need to do to find the right woman is have a meaningful purpose in life. I just talked about that a second ago with being the real you, but it's so important. I want to emphasize it. You need to have a meaningful purpose in life. What is your life all about? Why are you here? A lot of people can't answer that question. And the reason is they don't know. Maybe they're living for selfish stuff. Maybe they're just focused on making money and they've never thought about anything else. Well, money's not really a purpose for life. And if it's become your purpose, that's a problem. So I would ask you this, what are you doing to make a difference in the world? If you're only living a self-serving life, eventually it's going to get lonely and it's going to get boring. We were designed to serve, to help others, to bless others. And when people do that, they begin walking in their purpose. What are you doing to serve other people? What are you doing to bless other people? You say, well, I don't have a place to do that. Well, find a place. You can volunteer. I just saw a thing on the NFL the other day about a guy who was a big brother to a kid who's now an NFL running back. And he just spent time with him and it impacted his life. What are you doing? Are you doing things like that? If you go to a church, find a way to serve in that church. And you may say, well, Dave, what does this matter? Why does it make a difference? One, it makes a difference in your life. When you have a purpose, when you have some meaning in your life, you're going to be a man of purpose. And a man of purpose becomes much more attractive to a woman. When a woman knows that you're living for something bigger than yourself, she's going to be more attracted to you because you're able to look at the big picture. You're not just a selfish person who's only focused on you. She knows that you're going to be able to serve her and you're going to want to make a difference in the community. That's very attractive. A woman who has a purpose in her life will be attracted to a man who has a purpose in his life. Or she'll come alongside you and help you in your purpose, and that's part of her purpose. You knowing why you're here, you knowing what you're doing, that's huge. So if you're not doing that, if you're just sitting around all day playing video games and going to work and doing nothing else, that's not a purpose. What you want to do is become the best version of yourself. And that starts with you learning, why am I here? What is my purpose in life? When you do that, you're going to find yourself attracting more women that you will be attracted to. So guys, closing the video, we got to understand that to find the right woman, you've got to be the right guy. You've just got to be the right guy. Doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Doesn't mean you have to have everything figured out in life, but you want to be working to be the best version of you. You do that kind of work, you'll find women who find you attractive, or while you're doing that work, while you're living your purpose, you'll come across women who have a similar purpose, and that's going to be the right one for you. Hey, if you want some things to help you grow as a man, check out thrivingman.com. What we do is we help you conquer the chaos of life and live a thriving life as a man. We'll see you next time.